Spiritually lit candles. What more can I say, man? I talk about them all the time. They got the best candles, color changing chakra candles. It's extremely important during meditation, and it puts you in a zone that I can't even describe or explain. But the candles is magical, truly. So make sure you go to spirituallitportal.com for more information.
All right. Should be good. All right. We're back again, my friend. It's time to hit these books. See what we see. You know what I'm Get you guys a cold one. Get ready. Tonight, it's this September the 4th. You know what I'm saying? Get into some ninja science. You're gonna open some ninja scrolls because I like ninjas. I was always into that shit. You know what I mean? Blame it on Nintendo and Wu-Tang. You know, Shinobi and all that shit, yo. So I always was into ninjas and coming up in the hood trying to make some damn nunchucks out of broomsticks and shit. You know what I'm saying? Watching mad Bruce Lee joints. What's up, man?
Oh, I want popcorn teddy.
What you want?
Some candy, please.
Have some candy, please. Your sister done told you, huh?
Mm.
Going back up. I'm about to study. E, take it back up, buddy. Right. So went ahead and grabbed some books because I was like, yo, let me see what the hell is going on. You know, let me see what the hell is going on. That's what, I do these shits for, is to delve into the study, see what I can find out for my damn self. You know what I mean? So, alright, let's get to it. First one is, how the fuck you say this shit? Shaninki. Secret Teachings of the Ninja, the 17th century manual on the art of concealment. Master Notori Masazumi, with commentaries by Axel Mizua. This joint right here. This joint. Some shit on Amazon, ain't nothing. But I was like, let me see what this one got. Uh, so yeah, we just gonna start with that one, and then I got a couple. I might grab a couple more, but we'll see. some shit. I don't know. If I like it, I'm gonna grab it. That's just how it is. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, we good. Let's get to it. All right. This is page number 4. Use of the term ninja is relatively modern, as it was made popular during the early 1900s. Before this time, the most commonly used name was shinobi or shinobi no mano, furtive, furtive individual. Shinobi is the word primarily used in the translation of this text. One of the reasons for this choice is that the word ninjutsu or ninja is not easy to translate as it might appear at first glance. There is little difficulty in determining the right translation for jutsu, which means technique or art, for a ja, which means he who, individual, person, or man. However, the kanji Chinese character nin possesses several distinctly different levels of meaning. All right. At the most elementary level, this word should be understood as meaning to endure. Whatever. I ain't important. The information is what's important. Tolerate, undergo, tenacity, or endurance. In the next layer of meaning, the sense of this word becomes similar to shinobi, furtive, secret, hidden, or invisible. Hidden. But if the kanji or nin is broken down, it is made up of the combination of two different ideograms. The kanji shin or kokoro, meaning spirit or heart, in a symbolic sense of soul, courage, will, feeling, and so forth, is placed underneath the kanji yaba, meaning blade, and more specifically, the blade of the sword, the saber. Nin equals kokoro and yaiba. This is how the shit look. Look like that. Let's see. Yeah, my hands is dirty, so I don't mind that shit. Be getting it in. Others have taken this analysis even further by breaking the kanji yaiba down into its components of ha, which means sting, combined with the tu, which means sword. Together they mean sting of the sword, rather than simply blade. The result has been a plethora of different interpretations for the meaning of nin, which in turn have served as a springboard for finding an equal variety of possible meanings for the word ninjutsu or ninja. By definition, ninjutsu and ninja, of course, serve as the preeminent terms for art of invisibility and the furtive individual. As the Shoninki indicates in the third chapter of Shinoki Jo, the ninja is also he who places his heart beneath the blade of the sword. In other words, the ninja is the individual who has to risk his life, especially during mission, or symbolically, the individual who lives with a sword of Damocles hanging above his head, someone in constant danger. He must be tough to endure a situation like this, and his furtive nature will allow him to escape danger. Live by the sword, die by the sword. I guess that's what that shit means too. But nin also means the will that can endure the sting of the sword. Okay, thereby making ninjutsu the way of endurance. Like that. That's interesting. Nin also means the will that can endure the sting of the sword, thereby making ninjutsu the way of endurance. The way of endurance. Whether this endurance is physical, mental, or moral in nature, this means knowing how to endure pain and humiliation. For example, when disguised as a crippled beggar to avoid arousing suspicion. Knowing how to be patient enough to remain hidden, motionless for hours, and knowing how to bear suffering, such as holding the pain of an injury in the depths of your heart and hiding it from others in order to fulfill a mission. Wow. In the hood, we would call that holding it down. Somebody knows how to hold it down, keep it together. All right. But this could also be the art of the union of the mind with the sword, or body and spirit. Okay. This refers to the mind's control over the body, which is, okay, we starting to cook, which is the tool to express the mind's pure and flawless will with a terrible efficiency, ready to do whatever proves necessary to achieve its objective. This indicates that ninjutsu, like all other reputable Japanese martial arts, can also be a way, do, ultimately seeking the perfect mind-body union. The word nin thus also refers to a tough heart and a patient and tenacious will with the effectiveness of a blade. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we got to finish this off. Okay. Pursuing pursuing this direction further, we can also interpret ninjutsu as meaning the art of one who knows how to use his mind like a weapon, the art of one who triumphs by virtue of his knowledge, experience, and cunning. But it also be seen as an allusion, allusion, they're doing it with an A though, yeah, allusion to the strength of the will and the power of the mind. The parapsychological powers that were goals of ninja training. With respect to its esoteric aspect, ninjutsu could lastly be understood as the art of the hidden mind, the secrets of the heart, which is to say, the hidden secret knowledge. There we go. HG, hidden God. Should be noted, some grandmasters like Master Hatsumi have objected to the identification of ninjutsu as a do, reserving this term instead for the practice of seated meditation, zazen. As we shall read in the first chapters of the Shaninki, ninja were sometimes called nusubito, nusubito, term used to describe thieves. This was a logical attribution, as the clandestine activities of thief and ninja often intersected. However, Nusubido is a contemptuous term that is quite pejorative, and the Shoninki quickly takes plan to draw a clear distinction between Nusubido and authentic ninja, explaining that while thieves, Nusubido, can technically behave like ninja to some extent, that does not make them true ninja. The Shoninki therefore establishes a clear distinction between ninja and Nusubido. Then, even though their spheres of activity clearly overlap. What was that word? I need to look that shit up. I don't know what the fuck that shit is. I don't have no clue what the hell that word means. Let me see. Let's see what the dinosaur is fast enough. We'll try to find it. There it is. Okay, it means expressing. Let's see what the hell it say it.
Pejorative.
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 Okay.
Pejorative.
Okay.
Pejorative. Pejorative. Pejorative.
I'm tripping. Expressing contempt or disapproval. So, however, Nusubido is a contemptuous term that is quite disparaging, basically. Slanderous. Okay. Clear that up. Because they could have just said derogatory, but they use these words, so look that shit up because I don't know what the fuck it means. And I ain't gonna front like I do. Alright. I'm saying. Alright, let's keep going. Esoteric, page 18. Esoteric techniques and spirituality. Let's see what they got to say. The Shoninki. Shoninki. That's what we're gonna do. Like show enough. Shoninki. Shoninki suggests the existence of a connection between ninja and Yamabushi, also known as Shuginja, Genja, or Genza. Yamabushi were first and foremost dissident mystics who lived in the mountains for the most part, which earned them their name. Yamabushi is written in Japanese as, let me give you the little characters, while most Western books translate it as warrior, Bushi, of the mountains, Yama. This is not at all correct. To be exact, Yamabushi actually means those who prostrate themselves. Oh, so they like Muslims, or those who lie down on the mountain, while Yama does in fact mean mountain. The mistake in the standard translation stems from the verb fushi, which means to prostrate oneself, hide, lie down. The noun derived from fusu is fushi. When it occurs as a second half of a compound word form with yama, the F is turned into a B, thus creating Yamabushi, which is written like this. Read the characters. To confuse things even more, the word Yamabushi is very closely phonetically to Yamaboshi. Okay, used to designate warrior monks, the monks Hoshi of the mountain. These monks, okay, now to get into it. So he basically just took a whole roundabout way to correct the etymology of some shit. You know what I mean? Which is cool. You know, you learn a little extra shit. But let's get to it. These monks were the Buddhist monks of Mount Hiei, Hiei, more specifically those of Inryakuji, Inri, temple located on that mountain. These monk warriors were customarily called monk warriors, a formidable and ferocious monks, or even in the historical texts written during the Edo period, soldier monks. Okay, so these niggas wasn't like on some Buddha bless you. They was like, Buddha, we will bless you, son. They was like, you know what I'm saying, on some Shaolin shit. You run up on this temple, we're gonna fuck you up. They was like that with it. Actually, Yamabushi were adepts of the esoteric doctrines of Buddhism, such as Shingon or Tendai, and the practitioners of Shujendo. Shujendo, like Nintendo. Shujendo. Path of practical exercises for obtaining psychic powers. That's what Shujendo means. Okay. Folk tradition cast them in the role of powerful magicians and the keepers of occult traditions who were endowed with supernatural powers. Okay, so this was the priesthood. You done found our crew. You found the crew. They sought to acquire these powers through ascetic practices and meditation. Yes, sir. Meditation, meditation, meditation. You gotta slow your brain waves down so you can reprogram the computer. Study and meditation. That's how you develop your personal power. Study, meditation, and action. You gotta take action. You gotta bust a move. You gotta bust a motherfucking move. As well as sometimes through the martial arts. They were often identified with the Tengu, mountain spirits, who were half man and half crow. Oh shit. Tengu. 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 Alright, shit. Mountain spirits who were half man, half cow. I mean, half crow. Damn. Half man, half crow. Either serving as their privileged intermediaries or simply considered to be one and the same. Greatly influenced by its initial cohabitation with the Yamabushi, ninjutsu is rich with numerous magical elements and practices whose purpose is the acquisition of psychic powers. While the influence of Shujendo on ninjutsu is still controversial, it is certain that the first ninja communities partially integrated elements from Buddhism esoteric legacy, as the Shoninki mentions. The esoteric teachings of the ninja mainly consisted of the practices of mantras, the vocalization of magic words and sounds, and mudras, magic gestures. The Shoninki devotes the fifth chapter of the middle scroll, Secret Teachings for Sowing Dismay in Assassins, to these practices. The 5 columns of symbols cited by the Shoninki in Secret Teachings of Sowing Dismay in Assassins, page 98, are magical spells. should be noted that some of these signs do not exist in the Japanese common tongue. They are adaptations of magic Chinese spells out of the Wu, Xing, and Taoism. Wu Xing, or how they pronounce X in Chinese, I don't know. Xing, Xing, I guess it's like Xing. Might be Xing, some shit, I don't know. But you know, over here we'll take the damn X and pronounce it as a Z. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna say Wu Xing. As indicated in the accompanying text, the first two spells are more akin to charms for blessings and protection, while the other three are curses to be directed toward a potential foe. Oh shit. The Shoninki makes no mention of this, but for good measure, the ultimate implementation of these symbols is to write these magical spells with your own blood. Oh, they're getting busy. It may also be noted that four of the spells all share the concluding phrase. Alright, I'm gonna try this shit. Q Q Q Q Q Yo Visuroyo, which was used during the Han Dynasty in all official documents, as well as the Taoist magic spells. It means, may my command be carried out at once. They ain't playing. They're giving orders. See that? They talking from a place of authority and directing the energy and wielding the energy. So, okay. In Japan, this phrase was used by the Yamabushi during exorcism rites for divinatory purposes, when seeking to predict the outcome of a battle or to determine the most propitious day for victory. It was also used to dispel evil spirits before battle. We should also note that the presence in these we should also note the presence in three of these spells of a symbol depicting a 9-line grid, referring to the magic number 9. Shit, we in September. But our calendars is all fucked up. Because fucking Sept really means 7. Shit's weird. Alright, where the hell was I at? Okay, yeah. Buddhist and even Zen teachings in this book, for example, in the 8th chapter, the middle scroll, it is explained that it is necessary to be empty. We've seen that before. In other words, impartial and free from the ego with complete absence of self-attachment. Boom. There we go. It's lining up, y'all. See it? It's lining up. It's lining up with the teachings. As a ninja was adept at worming information from an adversary by flattering his vanity and stroking his ego. If he was himself liberated from this weakness, he would be that much more effective. There you go. Let's hit that again. For example, in the 8th chapter of the middle scroll, it is explained that it is necessary to be empty. In other words, impartial and free from the ego, with complete absence of self-attachment. As a ninja was adept at worming information from an adversary by flattering his vanity and stroking his ego. If he was himself liberated from this weakness, he would be that much more effective. This is why it is so important to be able to leave your ego to the side. This is why it is so important to be able to leave your ego to the side. Do your thing. Do your thing. I have mentioned some of the traditional and esoteric elements found in Jiu-Jitsu for the reason that is so few readers are aware of them, but their role in the shoninki should not be overestimated. This book is first and foremost a collection of practical techniques for gathering information for the use of various materials, gaining knowledge of the environment, and so forth. Yada, yada, yada. Let's move on. Skipping into chapter 3, the supreme principles of the art of shinobi. Shinobi. Remember that game, yo? Sega, yo? That shit was ill. Ninja Gaiden was really my shit, though. It was running at the beginning. Shit was fire. Alright, let's keep going. Alright. Master says, the work of a shinobi takes him to the very borders of what an individual can tolerate, and it is only by exerting much effort that he is able to support it. These highly skilled individuals have to bear in mind when they're leaving their homes that they will never see those they love or their children again. Whoever returns home can rejoice for escaping his destiny. The shinobi places his heart beneath the blade of a sword. Similarly, while many people believe that ninjutsu depends on magic, it is not exactly true. Ninjutsu is a practical art and not the impostor of a charlatan. Mm-hmm. Practical. Practical. Be practical with your shit. Something you can do daily in your dailiness. You know what I mean? Almost done. This is when the disciple asks, if one listens to the wind blowing, he hears that the art of the shinobi allows him to travel through inaccessible provinces and to soar over frontiers and customs posts that cannot be crossed. He hears that fathers and brothers are no longer able to recognize their own relatives who have become shinobi. Couldn't the use of this art, such as when a man, for example, is convinced that someone is standing right in front of him, then suddenly feels the presence of someone at his back, only to turn and see that what he sensed has vanished, be compared to a mysterious rarity linked to no other tradition? Isn't this the art of practicing complete self-effacement when approaching people to glean information from them? Okay, they kind of touching on the espionage aspect of it, because they dip into all of that shit. But we're trying to find out, what some of the philosophy behind it is, as far as going into the esoterics and what their concepts were when it comes to consciousness. That's really what I'm scoping for, you know what I mean? Let's keep going. The master answers, if a person follows a crude principle or an art of little refinement, then that person shall surely make mistakes. But the correct path is marvelous. There are times when a shinobi recognizes reality with his heart, wraps it in a cloak of illusion or non-reality, and presents it as reality. An experienced shinobi will recognize when an adversary is using the same principle and recognize the reality of the illusion. There you go. When necessary, the shinobi will also be able to speak the language of a province. He will be able to speak enthusiastically about a place's quality of life, make friends of the inhabitants of a foreign location, and obtain things without spending much money. He will be able to get what he needs to eat and drink and not become drunk. Go with the flow. All right, let's go on. Okay, 7 disguises. It's page 43. Itinerary monk. This is when wearing the amigasa. Buddhist monk for getting close to people. Mountain aesthetic for approaching people and carrying a katana. Merchant for freely mingling with people. Itinerary actor for blending into the crowd. Street entertainer for the same reasons as above. Normal appearance, taking on ordinary appearance and ordinary to adopt other disguises depending on the situation. All right. Using knowledge of the 5 pleasant things. In the tradition of Kishu Rai, Kishu no Sute, it said that there are 5 pleasant things. Bijo Banan, beautiful women and handsome men. Denoku Deishu, sumptuous palaces and expensive residence. Kasho Gashui, calm and well ventilated places. Demraku Kabu, artistic performances and spectacles. And 5, Bunpitsu Gakko, arts and literature. Those who are attracted by beautiful women, handsome men, luxurious places, calm spaces, impressive rivers, artists, and art can also renounce them. If you learn these 5 things and how to best profit from them, will there be any enemy you are incapable of defeating? No, there will not be. Okay, all right. And this is page 123, the most secret principles. Let's see what they got to say. Within Ninjutsu is the principle of Senpen Banka, which postulates that everything is subject to constant change and transformation. That's that's a banger. That's something we know that lines up with the teachings. The essence of this principle is impossible to grasp in a single study. Right? That's why we study. It is important to know a land, its particular places, and the feelings of its inhabitants. The purpose of and duty of a shinobi should be to skillfully blend into them so they can be used to his best advantage. You penetrate men's hearts and the highest principles when you cross through the gateless barriers. Then all knowledge becomes clear. I cannot explain it here. I cannot explain here the secret of the soul with these words. However, if the shinobi learns this knowledge, it will attain its fullness in the 4 directions of heaven and folded back upon itself will find a place in his heart. You got to do it on your own, basically. Got to do it on your own, man. Got to go into yourself. This extremely important knowledge integrates the mysteries of the universe and most uncustomary things and sheds light in the most extraordinary fashion upon the course of time. This is the path for learning everything without effort. What is transmitted below are the preliminary conditions for understanding the secret principles of ninjutsu. However, the shinobi should not stick too strictly to the written words. He will be able to understand them by pursuing his study of the hearts of men. What's going on?
I'm saying she needs to sleep because we're bugging her.
All right, then go over there in y'all playroom. Get your remote and put on something to watch and chill out.
But look at it. It looks like a mess.
I know. I got stuff moved around. But your couch should be cleared off for you, though. Because I got to finish moving stuff around in there. All right. This one here is a oldie but a goodie. Shit, I had this book probably, let me think realistically. This book is probably damn near 20 years old. It's beat down. Let me tell you. It's beat the fuck up. This is your boy Bruce at Jeet Kune Do. Yeah, I had this book. Shit. I might have had, no, shit. This book is, yeah. I think I bought this book. Or maybe, hold on, let me see. They tell me when almost. No, this is saying 2003. So a couple years after that. Excuse me.
I want to be in it.
You want to be in it?
Yes.
You want to come say hi?
Yes.
Come say hi.
Hey.
Say hi. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
What you got?
This play toy.
Squishy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. He got glitter in his hair. Oh, I know him. He off Trolls. It's the
He's
glitter.
tiny,
The glitter
tiny,
dude.
tiny.
Yeah, that's cool, baby.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
I'm going on.
Go sit down, E. All right. At the beginning of the book, like he goes through them techniques and all that shit. But at the beginning, it's just got these verses on Zen, and we got some shit going. All right. To obtain enlightenment in martial arts means the extinction of everything which obscures the true knowledge, the real life. At the same time, it implies boundless expansion and indeed emphasis should not fall on the cultivation of the particular department which merges into the totality, but rather on the totality that enters and unites that particular department. Okay. Means, you know what I mean? Looking at the whole. Everything is parts to a whole. The consciousness of self is the greatest hindrance to the proper execution of all physical action. Consciousness of self is the greatest hindrance to the proper execution of all physical action. That's where the repetition come in. Like fighters use repetition. It's consciousness. Reading these books, studying, that's a form of repetition. You know what I'm saying? So they saying like the consciousness is a hindrance when it comes to performing the action. That's why you train to get that muscle memory. Boom, boom, boom. So then that way, when it come down to the heat of the moment, your mind ain't in your way. You're not in your own way. You just boom, you just execute. Because you've trained your mind through the repetition to have it perform when you need to pull the shit out. You know what I'm saying? I figured as much. Give me that. Go sit down. All right. The localization of the mind means it's freezing. When it ceases to flow freely as it is needed, it is no more the mind in its suchness. That's ill, because we always talk about consciousness not being local. And he said it freezes. That's like God Body Cash used to be like 32 below or just ice. I mean, you frozen in your mind. You stuck. You don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? You gotta free that up. It gotta be a flowing river, a flowing stream. Your conscience gotta be like a stream, you know what I'm saying? Able to flow. Hold on for 1 second. Alright. We're back. Bruce. Nothingness cannot be defined. The softest thing cannot be snapped. To see a thing uncolored by one's own personal preferences and desires is to see it in its own pristine simplicity. The point is the doing of them rather than the accomplishments. There is no actor but the action. There is no experiencer but the experience. This is on the art of the soul. The aim of art is to project an inner vision into the world. To state an aesthetic creation, the deepest psychic and personal experiences of a human being. It is to enable those experiences to be intelligible and generally recognized within a total framework of an ideal world. Art reveals itself in psychic understanding of the inner essence of things and gives form and relation of man with nothing, with the nature of the absolute. Yeah.
Oh man!
What you want, E?
Some rice, please.
Some rice? Alright, hold on, let me get this boy some rice.
Oh man!
Hold up.
Oh man!
Come on. Alright. Okay, so artistic skill, therefore, does not mean artistic perfection. It remains rather a continuing medium or reflection to some step in psychic development, the perfection of which is not to be found in shape and form, but must radiate from the human soul. The artistic activity does not lie in art itself as such. It penetrates into a deeper world in which all art forms of things inwardly experienced flow together, and in which the harmony of soul and cosmos in the nothing has its outcome in reality. It is the artistic process, therefore, that is reality, and reality is truth. Then it has the path to truth. It has 10 things listed, which is pretty cool. All right. Number 1, seeking after truth. 2, awareness of truth. 3, perception of truth. 4, understanding of truth. 5, experiencing of truth. 6, mastering of truth. 7, forgetting truth. 8, forgetting the carrier of truth. 9, return to the primal source where truth has its roots. 10, repose in the nothing. There you go. For security, the unlimited living is turned into something dead, a chosen pattern that limits. To understand Jeet Kune Do, one ought to throw away all ideals, patterns, styles. In fact, he should throw away even the concept of what is or isn't ideal. In Jeet Kune Do, can you look at a situation without naming it? Naming it, making it a word causes fear. It is indeed difficult to see the situation simply. Our minds are very complex, and it is easy to teach one to be skillful, but it is difficult to teach one his own attitude. That's on you. That's on you. All right, Bruce. But like I said, that's just a little something, something. You got it. And then he go into the techniques. Timing is best when the opponent rushes in. You got a lot of little gems. You have a foot of body to shoot at for each inch of chin. Also, the body is less mobile. That's when he started getting into the techniques of ass kickery in the physical sense. All right, let's bring it home. All right, this one got a few notes. This one is the spiritual practices of the ninja, mastering the four gates to freedom. This is by Ross Haven. Yeah, mastering the four gates of freedom. What's this one? By Ross. Spiritual practices. This is in the forward. He was dropping some stuff I had to catch. All right. Do you really want to be free and happy, or are you addicted to your sorrow? A lot of people are addicted, and they either don't know it or don't know what to do about it. Herein lies the problem. Programmed by society to believe that happiness, love, and freedom can only be acquired through power, possessions, people, men, and women, have lost the one thing that really matters, themselves. Many, sadly, will never learn the truth of who they are, of who it is that lives beyond the labels given them by the world. You're not one of these people. The incongruous intention that results from living a life according to who we think we are and not the truth of who we really are is at the heart of our pain and unhappiness. This suffering, which we which we could also call ignorance of truth, is what you and I knowingly or unknowingly desire to be free of. Beyond this ignorance lies the truth, the thing we most need and desire to be reunited with. This truth, intelligence, consciousness, soul, or spirit is the goodness, the life, the love, the happiness, and peace that we were and wish to be once more. And there is life's great paradox. Millions of men and women are searching for the truth outside themselves and not within. That's where it's at. As a person with amnesia might walk out of his house in an attempt to find his house, so we walk out of our truth looking for our truth. That was it right there. This continues until the day of awakening. Shout out to Stargate, my homie. The day that we start to see the world as it is and not as we think it is. This marks the first sign of our impeding freedom. Who were the ninja? When asked to describe Jeet Kune Do, which just came out of that book. Go have a seat, please. Thank you. Let me finish my study, son. I got you in a few minutes. When asked to describe Jeet Kune Do, the new fighting style he had developed, Bruce Lee said, absorb what is useful. Disregard everything else. My mama say that shit. Take the good, leave the bad. That's it. The art of Jeet Kune Do is simply to simplify. It is being oneself. It is reality in its isness. Freedom in its primary sense, not limited by attachments, confinements, partializations, complexities. It is a way of life, a movement toward willpower and control, enlightened by intuition. Although Lee was describing his own system, his words can serve as an introduction to the ninja, a people whose very way of life was based on fluid absorption of all that is useful in order to develop their unique perspective on the world, and by means of acting effectively within it. Like Lee, their insights and approach came from their observations of nature, from testing and thus discovering what worked from the various spiritual, psychological, and warrior traditions they encountered, and from their study of human beings and their reactions to life circumstances. So these niggas is fucking psychologists walking around with swords. You know what I'm saying? All right. Page 5. The key to success was the psycho-spiritual approach of the ninja and not, as the movies portray their fighting skills, the psychology of the ninja. Their inner preparation and purification was the primary factor because nothing at all can take place in the world without our first having a vision of what it is and what we intend to achieve. Therefore, if you are studying ninjutsu or any other martial art, you may find this book of value, but its real worth is in showing you how to apply warrior spirituality for greater effectiveness in the world, whether that amounts to better relationships or making millions, in your personal assessment of what would make you most happy and free. Therefore, if you are studying ninjutsu or any other martial art, you may find this book of value, but its real worth is in showing you how to apply warrior spirituality for greater effectiveness in the world, whether that amounts to better relationships or making millions, in your personal assessment of what will make you most happy and free. Ninja philosophy is entirely correct and in psychological terms, clinically accurate when it says that we must face our fears. There we go. Now we're getting to it. Find our power, apply this with vision, and deal with rather than suppress. Deal with it. Our problems if we are to be fulfilled individuals. This is the message of this book, and the techniques it includes are geared toward that. Of course, such a process is not unique to the ninja. It is an underlying discipline of all warrior traditions. You will find parallels in this book with Toltec philosophy, with the heroic approach of the Celts, and with many other schools of thought. I have not cheated away from including these other teachings where they are important to our journey, nor should you. After all, the ninja themselves absorbed freely what was useful from like-minded traditions they encountered. They're not closed-minded. Can't be closed-minded in this thing. You gotta be open-minded. Underlying all of this is the truth of the Amatsu Tatara and the ninja. You can have anything you want if you apply to your life the principles and processes that you read about here. Just reading about them is not enough. It is their application that counts. That is our route to freedom and happiness. And then they got a quote from Bruce. Actually, I think I just read this one. The point is the doing of them. There is no actor but the action. There is no experiencer but the experience. Bruce Lee. Yeah, I think we just fucking read that one. All right. Many people see ninjutsu or ninpu, the skills of the ninja, as combat oriented. But in reality, the spiritual aspect is never far from the surface. Training emphasizes mental discipline and the exploration of consciousness and human potential. Students learn to channel energy, or chi, the Tao or life force of the universe, to overcome challenges just as much as they learn physical techniques for defeating an opponent. Ninjutsu training is an initiation through levels of skill into different order of life, where combat in fact becomes an irrelevance. Students absorb energy-raising techniques and special kaimei postures and movements that direct spiritual and mental energies into the body to deal with particular situations. Sound like they working their energy through their body. They also learn breath work, kokyu waza, and other practices that give them access to new realms of power. Sensory training to develop a sixth sense, meditation or no mind, spirit renewal, and awareness training. The description may seem esoteric, but the emphasis, in fact, is always on the practical or experience, encounters, and getting things done. Getting things done. Rather than appeals to higher powers, because none of these techniques are actually of much value unless they work. Do the shit work? Does it work for you? Try it. See. Have more faith in yourself. I mean, pull something out of your mind and run with it. You know what I mean? Check it out, study or whatever, and do your thing and put a twist on it. Make it your own. Certainly, this was true in the in the harsh terrain that the ninja knew as home. They were by necessity a pragmatic people, mystical rather than religious or dogmatic. And central to their philosophy was the understanding that there is no higher power than the actualized human being, who is the meeting place of the material and the divine. Let's hit that again. They were by necessity a pragmatic people, mystical rather than religious or dogmatic. And central to their philosophy was the understanding that there is no higher power than the actualized human being, who is the meeting place of the material and the divine. Yeah, we can move right along after that one. All right, this is a nice little section. The importance of the elements is reflected in the ninja concept of the Godai, the five energies that make up all there is and which can be used in our quest for freedom. Ka is the quality of fire and corresponds to feelings of vitality, physicality, self-direction, and courage. It is the archetypal energy of the lover, she who is in love with and passionate about life. We get in touch with Ka through the body. Sui is the quality of water and represents flexibility, adaptability, and the ability to go with the flow and find balance and self-assurance. It is the energy of the seeker, he who searches for answers and looks for his own source of power, personal power, personal power. We find our Sui through the emotions, chakras, boom. Fu, the quality of air, relates to wisdom, clarity, personal truth, self-reflection, and self-knowledge. It is the energy of the magus, the person of vision who has found an individual and authentic way of being in the world. Be yourself. Be yourself. Discovering this within ourselves is the work of the clear and skillful mind. Chi is the quality of earth, which is experienced as a sense of stability, groundedness, spiritual maturity, and the capacity for happiness. It is the energy of the soul warrior who is prepared to fight his battles on the field of the spirit to gain mastery of himself. Instead of projecting his pain out into the world and creating the very chaos that causes suffering. Finally, in the Godai Ku is the place of the void, the experience of self-actualization, naturalness of being, and attunement to all things, which the warrior will encounter once he has met the other. Oh, the other elements. He on and awoken their qualities in himself. It is a place of the mystic who has understood his position at the center of all things. I think that's gonna do it, buddies. So yeah, wanted to like I said, this is a study. You can learn something that's cool. I know I am, that's the purpose of me doing these joints. So I was like, yo, see what the ninjas, see what's really going on with it, and it has some gems in there, has some stuff that lines up, different perspectives of looking at this science that we call alchemy. So it's another one in the books. You know what I'm saying? Alright, let me get with these little people because I got some busybodies still lurking. Catch y'all on the next study. One.